If you have Windows 10, there's a lot of protection options. There's firewall, antivirus, real-time antivirus, and so on and so on. This is how to walk through these options and turn them off if you want. So, of course, do this at your own risk. We just need to go into the Windows settings. You want to go maybe the icon here, right click on the mouse and click settings. And once you go to the settings page, just check at the bottom update and security. Will bring you to this menu here. And we want to check Windows security tab here. It's giving us just a in general information what's going on this particular computer. We have several options here, but let's just click on open Windows security and gives us this new menu here. We have a few options here on the left side menu. This is the first page, virus protection. Let's just click not on the button, but on the this area here. You may want to double click. My mouse is single click, but just double click to open this. There's something before we go through disable things, there's something to mention from Windows. At least this is the Windows 10 Pro version. Not sure if the home version has this scan option, but Microsoft did offer a scanning tool, which I think it's a great thing to scan by yourself. It's not automatic. Perhaps you can do it automatically, but you can do it manually. So just may want to scan your hard drives and so on. It takes a little bit of time, obviously, but you have scan options. You can choose what to scan and so on, and select the hard drive and so on. This is a good thing, but we are talking here about disable things. We have virus. Let's just click on manage settings, and we have real-time protection, cloud protection, and so on and so on. So make your own choice. You'll have a confirmation windows. Just click yes on it. All this depends on your usage, but always be aware if you are disable something, maybe you may want to be careful when you download a program, when you click a link on your emails, when you browse onto any internet page and click on any link on that page. Be aware that you are exposed, so be self-responsible about this. So this is with the real-time protection. Let me see. I don't have a OneDrive. I think there's an account or something like this. I did not use this part, but check out if you want to turn it off. We are going back to the main page. Let's see here. So virus and threat protection, it's now off. If you want to turn it on, click here. Second item is the account, Microsoft account. I don't use such account. I guess it's mostly for downloading programs or items from their Microsoft Online store. I don't use that option, and I think it's safer not to use it. If I need any program, I'll just Google up and download from sites that are perhaps a little bit safer than others. I do think CNET, if you are downloading from CNET, there's quite a good chance to get viruses or other bloatware with the program itself. I try to download from softpedia.com. It's safer, but it's not always safe, so be aware. Again, this is not what I'm talking here. Firewall, let's just click on the sign. Domain network. Despite this being a Microsoft 10 Pro, I'm not using any network. I'm connected to internet through Ethernet or wireless, but I'm not into a network. So just click to disable the Defender. There's again a small window to confirm this. Incoming connections, I do prefer to block incoming connections. You may Google up about what it is exactly, but this has nothing to do if you have already set your internet or wireless connection. Is not going to touch that connection. It's just if someone else wants to connect to your computer besides your internet connection, is going to block that connection. Let's see, go back here. So domain network, it's off. Private network, let's just turn this guy off as well and block incoming connections. So perhaps you are aware what you are doing. You remember if in the future something is not functioning, you want to set something new on your computer, is not working, go back to these menus and perhaps you need to reactivate everything. A private network on, a public network. I think this one too. I'm going to turn this off and block the connection. Again, this is not going to affect your wireless connection. So everything here, it's off. If you want to turn on, click on the buttons. Let's just go back. And we have application and browser control. I don't use Microsoft Edge browser. I use Mozilla. I just don't really need this thing. Can just turn it off. And for the store as well, unless you download products from the store, but otherwise smart screen off. And when I download a application or a file from internet, if I want to install a program, something, maybe just let it to warn you, just to remember to be safe. It's a good tip if you remember this when you download a program from Softpedia or from any other site. Oftentimes when you download a free program, when you are installing it, there's about two things that happen that's good to be aware of. First one, sometimes you notice there's a note, it says, do you want to do the automatic standard installation of that program, or do you want to choose the custom install? I always click on custom install. Why? Because that's where many other options and bloatware are hidden behind. So choose custom, click on it and see what are the options, and try to disable as many things as kind of send reports or communicate or send data, or do you want to get that anything other than the program itself. So disconnect that thing. That's, I think I wanted to say something else. Oh, and the second thing is, even if you don't have that custom install option, always read really through all those small windows, installation windows, because many programs, free programs, they have optional programs that are going to be installed, but you have the option to uncheck them. So I always uncheck everything else but the base program I want to download. That's just one tip. Okay, let's just go back to this. This application, it's disabled, and I think that's pretty much it. You have the device security. This is not something that's running, perhaps it's running a little bit background, but it's not something that is going to bother or take your system resources. This is a health report on the hard drive and so on, storage and stuff. Again, I don't think I didn't find something to disable these things, but I think it's not something to be bothered by. And by the way, the idea behind disable these things is not about thinking that Microsoft is spying you. Yes, perhaps they do anyway. It's just about reducing consumption of system resources, making the system work a little bit faster, the connection of internet work a little bit better, the CPU being lower, and the memory usage lower it as well. So that's the reason, at least myself, why I'm turning these guys off. Let's just click the other options, but this should be a good part of the disable things. This one, we've been there. I don't have a Microsoft account, and I do recommend not to get one unless you really want apps from Microsoft Store. But again, those apps are going to be mostly perhaps games and some utilities, but you can get the same things from all over the internet outside the store. However, be aware that if you are going outside the store to download things, there is a higher risk of downloading anything else, spies, viruses, and whatnot. From the main settings page on update and security, we also have this tab here, Windows Update. And it looks like Windows 10 is actually forcing us to take all updates they are issuing. Perhaps better to just update your system maybe every 6 months or so. Wait for maybe a bigger update that's compilating everything prior to it. These updates is not always that critical. You need to understand that it's not like, oh, I'm not getting the next update, I'm going to get a virus or something else. There's no reason to panic in that way. Like I said, I never shut down my computer. I always put it to sleep. And I get this message, but let me just say something before. Windows tells you you'll have some reminders. So there's a small, see this. There's a small icon here with a reminder, tells you choose a moment, or tells you Windows will by itself install the upgrade when you are not working on a computer, when it's an hour in the night, whatever. Actually, I just kept put the computer asleep when I'm not using it, and it never did that update, or at least I'm not aware it did. And I never shut down the computer. So, and also I was lucky I never got a power outage or something like that. And at some point it will just start showing you this other message, just about restarting, pick a time, remind me tomorrow. And when you are getting this, first times, I got it 2-3 times, I could press escape on my keyboard and continue my work, would disappear. But now I cannot, the escape doesn't work, and I cannot use the computer. Basically, you need to press here somewhere. I'm not aware if you guys, I have the Windows K. I do, I am able to show this, but you see, is nothing is functional, nothing else. So basically we are forced to press here, and I'm going to just say, remind me tomorrow. It's going to go away. Perhaps you are going to repeat that thing a few times. Let's just see what this icon says. You see, I have this setting, restart required, and they were showing something else, schedule a restart. There is a time here, but if you don't if you don't turn off your computer, and you just postpone that icon with 3 options, it will not install the update. So maybe at some point I'm going to get tired and I'm going to click OK, get it, do it as you like. But until now I was just able to postpone that update and not get it installed. And that blue icon that you saw with 3 options, that it's been several months until I started to see it. So don't rush, and perhaps you are going to be able to postpone this without too much trouble, without being too much annoyed about this. If you want to uninstall an update or any update, just open maybe the settings, and we have apps, small folder here. And now if you scroll here, scroll to the bottom, and we have programs and features. Basically, this brings us to the old, if you remember, a list of programs, and on the left side, view installed updates. And these are all the updates. You have the date, so you know which one is the last one. Now you may notice that I am clicking on these guys and there's no button uninstall, and also normally the button will show up here. And that's because I did uninstall one update, but most of them you cannot roll back. It's just that Microsoft decided that some updates are not uninstallable. Some will be, but not all of them. If you happen to need to uninstall it, by all means, even if it doesn't have a uninstall button, I'm going to link you, maybe see the comment section, I'm going to link you to this page where it's explaining exactly how to make any update uninstallables, how can we roll it back no matter what Microsoft is saying. So I recommend you read this, but this is definitely for more advanced users. And also check the comment section, someone is giving good tips. I'm not going to present this here, but it's good to know about it. That's one thing. I wanted also to show you something about your privacy. If you go on Windows Security and maybe choose any of these items, on the right side of the screen you have privacy settings, and notice mine are off, but I recommend you read on this privacy. This is kind of thing that Microsoft is getting data from your computer or from your browsing experience on Microsoft Edge, and it's using that data to personalize something, user experiences. So I personally don't like sharing too many of my impersonal or browsing information with any company, so that's why I did turn these things off. I wanted to show something else. If you go on this main page here, you also have a small well, it's a settings well. If you click on that thing, you have the notifications, because when you turn all these things off, you will not get annoying notification at the base of bottom of the screen saying that security is off, turn it on, and so on. If you want to manage those notifications, it's on this link, and again you notice mines are all turned off, and just scroll to this thing and be sure if you don't want to get annoyed to turn them off. If you are still with me and you're looking for more tips, here goes. From this main settings page, go to the privacy, and you may just check all these items here, but I think what's even perhaps more important, it's diagnostic and feedback. This is what Microsoft is taking from your browsing experience and is using for their data and so on. We really just don't have other option that basic and full, but you also have this tailored experience. I don't think you really need this. It's most of the times perhaps Windows just putting nice titles and names to something that they use to get data from you. So if you want to just check these guys off and maybe read a little bit more, but most of the points here, the most important points are here on off. Activity history, again, you don't perhaps want to send Microsoft information about your activity and so on. So uncheck these boxes. You may want to clear it. And one of the things. Two more things I recommend you do to prevent data being sent to Microsoft Windows. So first, type in services and select services up. And then scroll down to connected user experience and telemetry. You can double click, select stop, my apologies. And then select here disable and click apply. So you should have disable and stop it here, right there. One thing, you can close this window, then go back again and type in GP and click on edit group policy. We are going here for administrative templates. We are going to Windows components, and we are going to scroll down to data collection and preview builds. You may click here instead of extended to standard. Search for allow telemetry. Double click on it. You will see not configured. So click on disable here. and click to apply. So these are the two settings. Remember where you have been, or come back to my video if you encounter any other problems with working with your computer, so you can reverse these settings. If you go application permissions, locations, you have all these microphone and so on and so on. You can deactivate what applications are using them, but you need to know exactly which applications you are using and which you are not using. For example, if you are using a camera, you need to have it on, but perhaps 3D Viewer, or if you are not using Cortana, you don't need to give them permission to that camera, microphone, and so on. And one last thing, and this is getting interesting here, it's background applications. Of course, you can scroll to all others, but background apps, this is what it's running when you're not using them. So let's say you don't use 3D viewers or maps or whatever else, but the program will still be running in the background, not necessarily, but it may still be running there and may be sharing information with Microsoft. So it's up to you really to disable or enable what you want. Personally, I just disable everything, and if I just start an application, normally it should be working fine. But if I see it has a problem working, I'll just come back here and turn it on. That's that precise application. But this, it's just letting your computer breathe a little bit better, and also not exchanging too much data with, you never know which company and for which reasons. On the left menu, I'll also recommend you try to go and see this small tab, account info. And if you scroll down a little bit, you'll notice the applications that have access to your account. If you have push email and stuff like this, if you deactivate it, it may not work any longer. But just perhaps try to switch it off and see if you can work properly with everything you do on a computer. And maybe this is just simply just limiting a little bit the information you transmit to other apps, to other companies, and to Microsoft. From your desktop, go into the search bar and type in gpedit.msc. We'll give you this link here. Select. Let's just extend a little bit this new configuration window. On the left side, we have two items, computer and user configuration. We are going to go with the computer. On administrative templates, Windows components, then scroll down all the way to Windows Defender Antivirus. Just click on it, and you may want to select the standard tab here. And we have turn off Windows Defender Antivirus. It's not configured by default. Double click on it, brings us to this window here, and select enable. It's turning it off, which is enable here, and it's going to say turn off enable. This option of local group policy editor is only on Microsoft Windows 10 Pro edition. Is not going to be available in the home edition. From the desktop, we are going to open the registry editor. So type in regedit registry editor. So regedit, click on it, click yes. And by the way, this is a sensitive part of your computer, so don't touch anything else and don't do mistakes here. Careful. Let's just go to HK local machine. Let's select the left arrow here, select software, select policies, Microsoft, and here we are going to click on Windows Defender. You may click 2 times. On the right side, this is the window for Windows Defender. We are going to click on the right button mouse, select new DWORD 32-bit value, and inside we are going to rename this value disable anti-spyware. Exactly these letters. You don't need necessarily the caps, but just click nearby. You can also rename this guy. Just click on rename with the left right button of the mouse. Once you do this, double click on it. We are going to select value data and change it to 1. Click OK, and you have to see, you'll see here 1. When this is done, simply restart your computer. So this should be working on Windows 10 Home users. Once you have your computer boot again, just check the task manager here and see, just type in task manager and see if the Windows antivirus is still working or not. Once you finish this, you just want to check it out. So we go to Windows Security, open Windows Security, and then let's just see virus and threat protection, and it says it's managed by your organization. It thinks it's another virus installed on your computer, so the Defender itself. But also if you click on settings and go to security providers, manage providers, you'll notice it says Windows Defender Antivirus, the antivirus is off, firewall off, but it's the antivirus I was talking about. So this turns it off completely. If you can maybe restart the computer, it should be still off. Just for fun, if you want to check the status of the Defender antivirus from Windows, there's another place, just too many places. So go on the search window, select the settings, the main menu, click on update security, and go to Windows Security tab. Open Windows Security again and switch to Firewall and Network Protection. You'll have the status here, but there's another window. Just scroll down, go to Advanced Settings, click that thing, click Yes to the confirmation window, and brings you this other Windows Defender Firewall status overview for the domain profile, private profile, public profile, and it gives you the status of the Defender, which on my computer at this point is off. So this is it pretty much. I just wanted to share one last thing, just for the sake of it, a experience I had a few weeks ago with an email, and perhaps that gives you an idea about how tricky things are getting these days when it comes to protect yourself from spam, from hacks, from whatever else viruses. I got an email from eBay, my eBay account, and that email was saying something like, it's a very typical email that comes from eBay now and then. They are updating their policy. It's just normal thing to eBay. But that email was identical with the emails from eBay, but it was a fake email. And because it was identical, I thought to myself, there's nothing. It's not asking anything weird. It's just saying we have updated our policy, so check out this new policy to make sure you understand it, or something like that. Not saying to share information or anything. And I did click on that link, and it brought me to a eBay page with all the normal eBay display. But I did stop at that point, and that's when I did not check, I did not, from that page, I did not sign into my account. And that was a good thing because that email was fake. And I just stopped at that point and Google up about possibility to get fake emails from eBay. And I think this is a very, very good point to do. Whenever you find in your inbox or whenever you receive any kind of email with any kind of text to them, always, if you think it's something new, always maybe copy a line or the title of the subject of that email, copy it into Google and just search for that line and put fake or scam or something like this and search on Google, because most of the time you'll find that specific email, not just from eBay, from anything else, was already exposed on internet, and people are already aware it's a scam. But just to go back to that eBay email, actually, I did search on Google, and eBay says something interesting. It says whenever you receive an email saying to come from eBay, always go to Google, go to ebay.com page, logged into your account. And if it's an email that was really sent by eBay, you will find it into your messages from your eBay account. So I did went to my eBay account, and the email that I had received into my personal email account wasn't into the eBay account. So it was a fake one. Actually, I even contacted eBay, sent them that email, and they got back to me after a few days and told me that's a fake email, it's not from them. So it's really getting tricky. So be really, really aware, because I guess most of the time viruses, we are getting them from links into emails or zip file or executable files that you may get into an email.